Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. So people, we are in the middle of a happiness challenge, 30 days of spreading happiness and certainly receiving happiness as a result, because what you give generally comes back, and often twofold, right, or more. So today was to buy locally and support independent shops near you. To be fair, I didn't stop anywhere. I did not shop anywhere. I did not spend any money. But even though there's all these great ideas, you can certainly just put them in your mind and certainly remember to act on them another day. But let's look at tomorrow, which I'm sure I can implement. And tomorrow is contact someone who may be alone or feeling isolated. I think we all have access to somebody who we just know. I mean, my aunt is 92 years old. She lives alone. She prefers to live alone. But at 92, in a COVID, she isn't on the computer. She doesn't have a smartphone. She's feeling a little lonely and isolated. So I was happy to have called her. And I called for the idea of contacting an elderly neighbor to brighten up their day. But of course, in doing that, it reminded me to call again, right? So is there anyone in your life that you know is alone, literally alone, or just feeling isolated? And you know, of course, we can consider that that is a feeling, because I mean, my gosh, in today's world, it is very hard to escape people. But I know for me at times, because I have clinical depression, and I no longer medicate for it. Even in the midst of 1,000 people, I feel very much alone. 1 second. Okay, thank you for waiting. What, 0.2 of a second? It was longer for me. Anyway, though, yeah, even in the midst of an intimate dinner party, I could feel completely isolated and alone. So there is the physicality of that, but you may just know people who tend to get that mindset from time to time, and they just want to hear from someone. So that would be lovely as a happiness gesture if we could reach out and give a smile. Okay, that said, I have a fantastic talk, and it is from the Food for Thought, a daily reflection book for people who struggle with food, by the Hazelden Meditation Foundation. Series, actually has Hazelden Meditation series, and this one struck me as so important to share, and because I talk about being a 12-stepper, I talk about the importance, especially now, of me literally just living one day to the next, because when I make the picture too big or I make the goal so large, inevitably I self-sabotage and will ultimately fail. So I love this one. It's from December 12th, and I will try and post it in the description of the video. I'm not quite sure how I can do it because I literally had to take a snapshot of a book. But if you're a food person who struggles with food, this Food for Thought is brilliant. I really recommend it. But let's get on with the read. So it's literally called Meal by Meal. We abstain from compulsive overeating day by day and meal by meal. So it's not 30 days, 60 days, 100 days. It's just for today. And it is working for me. It's worked in the past. I lost sight of it. I got competitive. I was looking for distractions, if you will. And praise God, one day at a time, one meal at a time. So day to day and meal to meal. After breakfast, we do not worry about how we will feel at dinner time. And I'm struggling with this still. Like, even while I'm eating one portion of my meal, I'm thinking about what I'm having next. And it isn't trigger foods. You know, it's healthy fruit, vegetables, healthy fats, the whole thing. But I'm still in that mindset where I'm trying to fill the void with food. And so I'm always thinking, what am I going to have next? I'm so sorry for that, but it won't last forever. So after breakfast, we know we have had an abstinent meal and that we can forget about food until it is time for lunch. Now for me, because I'm intermittent fasting, because of my Invisalign, I just already know that I don't have to worry about my meals until a certain time, and that I can have all the tea and water that I want, which, believe me, I've been taking advantage of. So then it says, if we allow ourselves to start thinking about what we will have for the next meal and the meal after that, etc., we turn on our obsession. And I so get that. When I'm completely content, I've pre-written my meals. I know exactly what I'm going to eat. It's all planned and ready. I don't have to think about it. I've already done the work the night before. I just need to get in there and eat it. But while I'm in the meal, when I'm already thinking about the next serving, the next portion of the meal, I know I'm already getting into trouble. So the beauty of abstinence is that it permits us to get from one meal to the next without constantly being preoccupied with food. So I think right now, because I just started getting into health, and I'd played every game my whole life. I'd been on diet since third grade. Like, that's my first tangible diet that I remember. And of course, a competitive one, right? So just every kind of diet, every kind of competition, money, etc. And because that's kind of the mindset that I come from, I forgot that you can actually be free of being preoccupied with food. If indeed you're living in the present and have a plan and your food is abstinent, there's none of your trigger foods in there. So by abstaining from refined sugars and carbohydrates, and they mean complex white sugar carbs, okay, not fruit and vegetables, thank you, and our individual binge foods, because in the 12-step program, you determine what is a binge food to you. The same food may not provoke someone else at all. We no longer have to fight the craving for more. I've been saying for a long time that, especially in raw vegan, I get all the fiber, all the micro and macronutrients, everything I need for my body. So then it really is just a matter of a head game, and whether I'm going to let my monkey mind and the monkey tribe and my inner child take over, or if I'm going to parent myself. So I know that when I eat the proper foods, that I have no cravings at all, only mental, right? By working the 12 steps, we fill our minds with nourishing thoughts, which drive out our former obsession with food. So actually working with the physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional components so that none get out of balance and trigger or sabotage you. This meal, which I have planned, is the only one that concerns me now. I do not need to think about other meals or other food. I will enjoy this meal, and then I will walk away from food into the rest of my life. How beautiful is that? Let's reread that. I will enjoy this meal, and then I will walk away from food into the rest of my life. And then the prayer, if you will, or the mantra, is keep me abstinent meal by meal. I've been totally using one day at a time, Sweet Jesus. I mean, that has been in my mind ever since I sang that song with you guys, because I do want to live one day at a time. But I would love the challenge to literally be so present with a meal that as long as I've written it down, I don't concern myself. I don't concern myself with the next meal. And I think that is a brilliant goal to have. And I'm sure I'll get there. What do you guys think of this one? I thought it was so powerful to really, you know, I talk about Tanny Raw a lot, and she's a social media phenom on every health channel. And she always says that eating raw vegan is the easiest thing she does. Like, she's so steadfast, she's so committed, she's so consistent. She's so good at prepping her food, and she's been doing it for years now, that she is not concerned about food. Like, life is way harder than the food she eats. And I look forward to getting to there. Again, in terms of just prepping my food and having it ready and everything, I'm there. But obsessing in between meals, What am I going to have next? I'm not there yet, but I believe it's coming. All right, let me read you a clean copy. Meal by meal. We abstain from compulsive overeating day by day and meal by meal. After breakfast, we do not worry about how we will feel at dinner time. After breakfast, we know that we have had an abstinent meal and that we can forget about food until it is time for lunch. If we allow ourselves to start thinking about what we will have for the next meal and the meal after that, etc., etc., we turn on our obsession. The beauty of abstinence is that it permits us to get from one meal to the next without being constantly preoccupied with food. By abstaining from refined sugars and carbohydrates in our individual binge foods, we no longer have to fight the craving for more. By working the 12 steps, we fill our minds with nourishing thoughts which drive out our former obsession with food. This meal, which I have planned, is the only one that concerns me now. I do not need to think about other meals or other food. I will enjoy this meal, and then I will walk away from food into the rest of my life. Keep me abstinent, meal by meal. It's a powerful one, you guys. Of course, I'm about to give myself a sticker for making it through my day. I'm going to definitely give myself a few urges in my urge jar because I most certainly was challenged, which tends to happen at some point every day. I'm happy to do that. I want to thank Coconut, my monkey mind, for staying relatively quiet today. Thank you, Coconut. And I'm just happy to be clean, blessed, and I'm also excited to be tithing. I'm about to give money to people in need. All right, my friends, like if you like, join us if you haven't, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below how I may support you. And until we talk again, best of all, sidebar, I'm recovering from falling on Friday. I had no idea how hard I had hit. I'm not even kidding you. Like, my knee to my ankle on the left leg is still completely bruised and hurt. That ankle is bruised and hurt. My sides are still super sore. But I have a commitment to rebound for 30 days. So I got on my rebounder for 5 minutes at a time the last couple days. Today it was 10 minutes. I broke it up into 2 parts. I'm getting there. And until we talk again, best of all, know that you're blessed